Welcome back, everyone. Today, we dive into a heartwarming story of kindness, bravery, and the quiet strength of ordinary people. This is the tale of a mother named Lin T and her young daughter, Mai, living a simple but compassionate life, and a young man named Tuan, whose paths unexpectedly cross. What starts as an ordinary day in the countryside transforms into a journey of selflessness, courage, and the power of human connection. Through fear, uncertainty, and danger, these characters remind us that even in the toughest times, kindness shines brightest, and those with the least often give the most. So, sit back, relax, and let's explore this heartfelt story that celebrates what it truly means to care for one another. The early morning air was crisp, with a gentle breeze rustling through the leaves. Sunlight peeked shyly over the treetops, casting a golden glow across the countryside. Birds chirped cheerfully, creating a serene, almost magical atmosphere. Lin T and her daughter Mai had risen before dawn, preparing to head into the forest to gather bamboo shoots, a tough but familiar task. "Don't forget the sharp knife for the basket," Lin reminded, as Mai nodded with a warm smile. "Got it, Mama. Let's gather enough to sell at the market this afternoon," she replied, hoisting the heavy basket onto her shoulder. Together, they crossed a narrow stream, the cool water brushing against their feet. The deeper they ventured into the forest, the rougher the path became. Overgrown bushes scratched their legs, and thick foliage nearly blocked the trail. But soon, the trees parted to reveal a clearing filled with towering bamboo and clusters of fresh shoots poking up like tiny green fingers. "Look, Mama, so many shoots!" Mai exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "Jackpot! Let's move fast before the sun gets too hot." They worked diligently, digging and snapping shoots, filling their basket bit by bit. Sweat rolled down their faces, soaking their clothes, but they kept smiling through the heat. "Mai, check this one out, it's huge," Lin called, turning to show her daughter. But Mai was gone. Lin's heart skipped a beat. "Mai, where are you?" A faint, strained voice echoed from behind the trees. "Mama, I got bit by a snake." Time froze. Lin sprinted toward the sound, her heart pounding. There, under the shade of a tree, Mai lay curled up, clutching her swollen, bloodied leg, her face twisted in pain. The snake bite was dark and angry. "It hurts so bad," Mai groaned, eyes shut tight. Lin's hands trembled as she rummaged through the basket, pulling out a piece of rope. Tying it tightly above the bite to slow the venom, she muttered, "Stay calm, think fast. You're going to be okay, Mai. I'm getting you out of here." "No, Mama, I can walk," Mai whispered weakly. "Don't be silly," Lin said, choking back tears. "Just breathe. I've got you." Hoisting Mai onto her back, Lin stumbled through the underbrush. The forest, once calm, now felt oppressive, the birds silent, the sun relentless. Her legs shook under the weight, but she pressed on, driven by determination and fear, carrying her daughter through the jungle step by step. As the late afternoon sun began to fade, Tuan and his little sister, Hoa, walked hand in hand from the bustling market. Hoa's new plastic sandals slapped softly against the dusty road, a melting popsicle dripping in her hand. Her face glowed with simple joy, a happiness bought with Tuan's last few coins. "Time to head home, sweetheart," Tuan said, squeezing her tiny hand. They followed a narrow dirt path shaded by leafy trees, wild fields stretching around them. In the distance, their small house, tucked beside a hillside, came into view, patched roof, faded walls, but brimming with warmth. Tuan bent down to brush a mosquito bite on Hoa's leg, his heart heavy. "I need to get her a mosquito net soon," he thought. Inside their modest home, A few seed packets and a small bottle of medicine sat by the window, small treasures bought with sacrifice. Tuan rolled up his sleeves, grabbed an old hoe, and stepped into the garden. Hoa sat quietly on the doorstep, playing with dry leaves, never complaining. Each swing of Tuan's hoe carved rose into the dry soil, planting not just vegetables but hope for a better future for Hoa. A soft breeze carried the scent of fresh earth and Hoa's sweet laughter. Tuan looked up, sweat trickling down his face, his tired eyes burning with unshakable faith. Back in the forest, Lin's legs threatened to buckle, but she kept moving, Mai slumped over her back, barely conscious. The trail twisted, roots snaked across the path, and thorns clawed at her skin. Her lungs burned, but she didn't stop. "Hold on, Mai, we're almost there," she gasped, clutching her daughter tighter. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a small wooden house appeared at the forest's edge. Moss-covered, weathered, but a beacon of hope. Lin rushed to the door, shouting, "Please, someone help! My daughter's been bitten by a snake." The door creaked open, and an older man with silver hair and sharp eyes appeared. One glance at Mai, and he barked, "Bring her inside now." Lin staggered into the dimly lit room, gently laying Mai on a bamboo cot. The man moved swiftly, grabbing a bowl of herbal paste and clean cloths. His aged hands worked with precision, cleaning and wrapping the wound. "She's lucky you got her here in time," he murmured. Another half-hour, and it might have been too late. Lin stood by the cot, catching her breath, never letting go of Mai's hand. The fight through the jungle wasn't over, but Mai had a chance. Lin had proven that love isn't just words, it's carrying someone when they can't stand. At Tuan's home, the soft hum of cicadas filled the air as sunlight filtered through the rooftop slats. In the backyard, Tuan and Hoa worked together in their modest garden, laughing and playing with their loyal dog, Sunny. Despite life's struggles, their bond was unbreakable, rooted in love and hope. Tuan reinforced the bamboo walls of their home, each beam a step toward a dream, a safe, comfortable future for Hoa. The soft thud of wood blended with bird song and rustling leaves, the world slowing down just for them. Later, as they washed clothes by a bucket, a sudden summer rain poured down, soaking the yard. Hoa squealed, and Tuan let out a tired but genuine laugh. Rain mixed with soap bubbles, but there was no panic, just a raw, beautiful moment between a brother and his sister, building a life one drop at a time. Mai stirred, her eyes fluttering open. Leaning heavily on Lin's shoulder, they made their way back to the small bamboo house. Lin helped Mai lie down on the cot, placing a pillow under her head. "Rest now," Lin said softly. "I'll go to the market and check on Tuan and Hoa." Mai's eyes glistened with emotion, but words failed her. Lin didn't wait for thanks. She didn't need it. In the small kitchen, she hunched over a fire, crushing herbs into a clay pot. The aroma of roots and leaves filled the air, steam rising in golden streaks. Mai watched, her heart full. The house wasn't grand, but it held loyalty, care, and a bond stronger than blood. The rain had stopped, and the world was quiet again. Tuan made his way to the stream to finish chores interrupted by the storm. A faint voice broke the silence. "Help me, please." Tuan froze, heart racing. A girl, soaked and trembling, ran toward him, eyes wild with panic. "Please, help me," she cried, clutching his arm. Before he could respond, a thin, sharp-faced man emerged from the shadows, his voice cold. "Have you seen a girl running through here?" Tuan's stomach twisted, but he stayed calm. "No," he said, pointing in the opposite direction. "I heard someone running that way." The man hesitated, then left. Tuan didn't breathe until he was gone. But the danger wasn't over. Later, the man returned to Tuan's home, his voice now angry, threatening Tuan and Hoa. Tuan stood firm, shielding his sister, refusing to show fear. This story of Lin Ti, Mai, Tuan, and Hoa reminds us that courage and kindness can shine even in the darkest moments. Through sacrifice and selflessness, they show that the greatest strength lies in caring for one another, no matter the cost.